Hello everyone, Dustin here. Today I am recording this video for a sole purpose of helping you all who are trying to learn Geoguessr. So, the motive for today is I am gonna do a huge country streak and I am gonna divide each episode into 25 countries along with explanations. So for this episode, we're gonna go from country 0 to 25, well hopefully at least, and guess the correct country with the correct logic and the needed metas. With that out of the way, let's get into it. So, as you can see, my current base streak is 1025, which was with the help of Twitch chat. So, if you want to see my live streams on Twitch, the link is in the description. Go follow me. So, let's get into it, shall we? Let's do this. Default settings, moving allowed because you'll need some extra metas. You can't do everything no moving. So first things first, if you see this kind of a pool with holes in between and some divided sections, I would normally consider that to be a Portuguese pool. But let's find some more metas for Portugal before sending it. Another common theme for Portugal would be these orangish roofs, which you would see pretty commonly. And then we have rua, the word for street in Portuguese. So yes, I am very confident that this should be Portugal. Indeed. Let's go on to the next one. Okay. So these are the holy pools, which are pretty famous in the Geoguessr community as such. So notice how the holes don't reach the bottom of the ground. These poles belong to Poland. The Hungarian and Romanian holy poles generally tend to reach the bottom. So I'm going to assume we are in Hungary. Let's find some more clues. This Bollard right here, that's a Polish Bollard. And you can see it from the other angle here. And you can see how there's a number written on the Bollard. This is a common thing in 3 countries, Poland, Spain and Latvia. So that's one thing you can remember. But yes, this red full-faced Bollard is Polish. So yes, we should be in Poland. Nice, let's go on for the next one. Ooh, this one's a tricky one. Okay, so first things first, we are driving on the left side because this is meant to be the back of the car. So we're driving left. Plus, if you notice the trees, they seem equatorial. So driving left and equatorial trees, so I'm gonna assume we are in Malaysia or Indonesia. Another tip for Malaysia and Indonesia would be the road lines. If you see, the road lines are white instead of yellow, which could be the Americas. So hence it's not the Americas and it's Malaysia or Indonesia. So, and one more thing before moving. Indonesia and Malaysia both have white as well as black cars. So don't think that they have a single colored car. So this could still be both of them. Now let's move to find some more clues. Okay, this is a very helpful meta for Malaysia and Indonesia 50-50s. If you ever see black and white striped signposts, it's almost certainly Malaysia. Should be a safe guess, mainland as well as Borneo. Let's send this one. And it was Borneo, Malaysia. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, without even panning around in this image, if you can see, there's a lot of blurs like this one, and the general camera quality is not the greatest as well because it's generation 2 camera. You can see from this white blur on the car and the halo around the sun. So I am assuming this is going to be Germany, which it most likely is. Let's find a couple more metas for Germany. Okay, these signs, you see how they're ending with Strasse as compared to Weg or Way, something like that. Those are in other countries. So when you see white signs with Strasse, you are most likely to be in Berlin, but it can be some more cities as well. So yes, it should be Germany for sure. And yes, indeed it was Berlin. Okay, first things first, we have a yellow double line in the middle of the road. Then we have driving right and a black car. So this situation can only occur in two countries, which is Argentina and Uruguay, and even Peru. But if you look at the landscape, Peruvian landscape tends to be either super tropical or super deserty because of Atacama Desert. But this scenery right here is more of an Argentinian Uruguayan scenery. But let's not get into it, let's find some solid clues. Notice how this turned into a solid white line in the middle of the road. So it can't be Peru now by any chance, because Peru cannot have this road line. Same thing for Uruguay. Uruguay does not have single white middle lines dashed in the center. So this for sure should be Argentina. And yes, it was. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. Notice how there's a Thai script. So we could be in three countries, that is Thailand, Cambodia and Laos, which are the three countries that use the script. Second thing to notice would be that we are driving on the left side. You can see those cars are going that way and this car is going that way. So we're driving on the left side, which is almost certainly Thailand, because Thailand is the only country out of these three which drives on the left side. Another thing to notice in Thailand would be the generation of the camera. As you can see, because of this blue car, this is generation 4 camera, which is not available in Cambodia or Laos. So this would be Thailand anyway. So let's send it. And yes, it was Thailand. Okay, so if you guys would remember how I mentioned about Polish pole holes not reaching the bottom, well, here they do reach the bottom. So this is an example of holes reaching the bottom of the ground. Okay, let's see what this one is. So yeah, these poles can be in Hungary or Romania, so not Poland. And a general tip for Romania would be poles having white painted bottoms. So for now, I'm thinking we are in Romania. And this is a typical Romanian pole. Like, notice how there's holes as well as white painted bottoms. You are in Romania for sure. Okay, double yellow lines in the middle. So we are in the Americas most likely. The sun is to the north, so we are in the southern hemisphere. Well, we're not in the Americas this time because we are driving left first and foremost. And secondly, we have the New Zealand Bollard. Let me find a good view for that. Good angle. There you go. So it almost looks like a Polish Bollard, like we had a look on the first or second country, I don't remember. But if you notice the back side of it, it has this stripe thing going along it. And this is way thinner than let's say a Poland Bollard. Plus the fact with the road lines is, now you can see it's yellow and white simultaneously. So in the Americas, that is only Argentina and Uruguay, but we don't have the black car. So that's why it's New Zealand. Plus the fact that we're driving left makes for a certain New Zealand. And indeed it's correct. Okay. So these bollards tend to be in Australia, most likely. These can be found in Turkey and rarely in Netherlands and Romania as well, just putting it out so that you guys don't get baited in the future. Most probably in Australia and Turkey though. But in this situation we have, as you can notice, a long antenna and fairly orangish kind of a soil. So, and yes, the sun is to the north as well. So we are certainly in Australia even without moving. And that is correct. Okay, so we just learned about New Zealand. The yellow and white dashed lines driving on the left because this sign is on the left side of the road. And then we have New Zealand bollards. Let's have a look at them clearly. There we go. And there we go. So we are in New Zealand yet again. That was easy, right? Let's be the next one. Okay, for this one, first and foremost, we have a Japanese script. I don't know if it's katakana or kanji. I personally cannot differentiate between them, but it's one of those. And the fact that we have a lower camera towards the ground confirms the fact that we are in Japan. Also, one more thing to notice in Japan would be the fact that we have cube-shaped cars and yellow plates in some of them. So yes, that's a Japanese style. 11 countries. Let's move on. Okay, this is a bit of a tricky one because first and foremost, let's look at the bollards first, shall we? Okay, so you see how there's an orange strip in the bollard, orange reflector. So the orange reflector can be seen in Lithuania mostly, and very rarely in Latvia as well. So to differentiate between them, we have a bunch of metas. So let's find one of them. So if you're in the Baltics, the bus stop sign meta is very, very useful. So you notice how there's 1, 2, 3, 4 windows in the bus. That would mean if we are between Lithuania and Latvia, that is, 4 windows would mean Lithuania, whereas Latvia has 5 windows. So that's a good tip you can learn. So this should be Lithuania. And indeed, it is Lithuania. Let's move on. Okay. First things first, without panning around, notice these houses, these red houses with these slanting roofs, very Nordic. So Sweden, Norway and Finland mostly. Second thing here would be these signs. So if you see these signs with a white arrow inside of a blue sign, like notice how this is a solid white arrow. So that's mostly Finland. And let's find something else as well. The snowballs. So these snowballs are found in all the 3 Scandinavian countries, Nordic countries. But Finland has this white section on the top, and Norway tends to have it on in the middle-ish. So that's a good tell as well. So I think we are in Finland right now. Plus one more thing to notice, if you notice the rule lines, we have white solid lines on the outside as compared to Sweden having short dashed lines and Norway having long dashed lines. So this should be Finland. And yep, it was. Let's play the next one. Okay. Well, first things first, we have the Thai script. So again, we could be in those 3 countries: Thailand, Cambodia and Laos. And if you notice that I mentioned in the last Thailand round that Thailand is the only one with the Generation 4 camera, which we have in this situation as well. So we should be in Thailand again. And there's the Thai flag to confirm it. Okay, so we're safe to sing Thailand here. And indeed it is Thailand. Let's play the next one. Okay, notice driving on the left, we have a tuk-tuk here. And we have this script. So currently I'm working on a meta sheet for India, and this is one of the languages used in India as well. It's called Bengali. And how to differentiate it from other Asian languages would be the fact that we have this one solid line on top of every word. That's how you differentiate Hindi and Bengali from the rest of the Asian languages. Now, since India does not have car coverage like this, we are sure to be in Bangladesh. And indeed it was. Let's play the next one. Okay, so this one's fairly easy. Let's start off with the pedestrian sign. So the pedestrian sign, as you can see, has 1, 2 and 3 steps, which is not in a lot of countries. Let me mention in which countries they do. Estonia has 3, Lithuania has 3, Russia has 3, and Ukraine. So these 4 countries are known for having 3 steps on the pedestrian sign in Europe. Secondly, if you notice the license plates, they are completely white without an EU strip on the left side of the plate. So that rules out Estonia and Lithuania. What we're left with is Ukraine and Russia, and this is without moving, by the way. Now, to select between Ukraine and Russia, we have these crosswalks. You see how there's a yellow and white alternating pattern in the crosswalk? This is a straight up Russia tell. So it should be a safe guess. And yes, let's send it. Indeed it was. Let's try the next one. Okay. Let's find some clues. Okay. A quick tip before finding any solid clues. If you ever see this black small tape on the antenna of the Google car, which is right here, you can be in a selected number of countries only, namely Czechia, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania and Bulgaria, but point to be noted, it can very rarely occur in Poland and Croatia as well. So keep that in mind. But mainly it would be these 5 countries. So it's one of these 5 for sure. And let's keep moving. Okay. So since we had narrowed down our search to Czechia, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania and Bulgaria, now we find this sign which has a Cyrillic writing on it. And the only country out of these 5 which has some amount of Cyrillic would be Bulgaria. So this surely is Bulgaria, but one more thing that you need to remember would be the fact that Bulgarian signs are white and have both Cyrillic and English written. Serbian, Macedonian and Montenegro signs are different. So if you see this kind of a sign which is white and has both Cyrillic and English, you are in Bulgaria anyway. Indeed. Let's try the next one. Well, this one's an easy one because we have the almighty Colombian cross. So it's a very well-known meta in the Geoguessr scene, I would say. So if you see any back of signs having this cross and the back not be black, point to be noted, you see how this is all like of the same material and there's nothing different. So this should be Colombia, combined with the fact that we have pare on the road, which means stop in Spanish. And notice how the Google car has a stubby antenna with a blackish transparent blur. That's a straight up Colombia tale because the only other countries with stubby antenna don't have this blackish blur. That's one thing. And then of course the yellow plates to top everything off. So yes, this should be Colombia. Indeed. Next one. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, well, if you don't know this yet, this is the Ghana tape. So we have roof racks and we have a black tape attached to the front right bar. And this does feel like Ghana, so let's get this over with quickly. I mean, just to be clear, there are certain things you can learn in that at that spawn, in that round. But currently I am trying to help you guys figure out a country rather than getting into specific things about the countries. So just putting that out before anyone screams at me in the comments, why didn't you find more metas in Ghana? That's about it. Okay, we have a long antenna on this one. Ah, there we go. So that's a reddish car with a long antenna and a green blur. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it has a slight green blur in there. So this car is normally found in Ukraine. Yeah, so Ukraine is the main country where you'll find this car. But the thing that most people do not know is that this car can be found in Belgium and Australia as well. But looking at the scenery, I would personally prefer Ukraine out of the 3. Okay, there you go. So you see how there's a blue and a yellow strip on the left side of the plate. So that is a Ukrainian license plate. So now we are sure to be in Ukraine. Let's send it. And 20. Let's go. Okay, a white line in the center. The scenery looks European. And again, we have the almighty Lithuanian bollards, which can rarely be found in Latvia as well. So shall we find a bus stop meta or something else this time? Let's see. Oh, we have a bus stop. Okay. Well, I know you guys can figure this out now. For windows on the bus, we are in Lithuania. If those were 5, we would be in Latvia. And 21. Let's play the next one. Ooh, it's a trick. This should be fun. Okay. This should be very, very fun. Turkey ice cream parlor. Ooh. So this is like one of those rounds where I have to think as well. So this should be fun. You guys can understand this from my POV as well, how I think. So we've got a ton of English. That's something to notice. We don't have any other languages as such. Yes. So we should be in a country that primarily speaks English. Rescue, okay. Nathan's world famous Frank photos since 1916. Frank photos. Well, okay. Let's find some solid clues in here, shall we? Well, here we are. That was quick. So there's this sign which I found, Pennsylvania Act number something. Well, we don't care about the act, but what we care about is that Pennsylvania. So now I'm pretty sure we should be in the US, but if we are not, I might have to record this video again. So let's send this. Well, we were. Okay, let's go again. Let's see this. What's this? Oh, there you go. Okay, first things first. This pole with sections, no holes in the middle. And the fact that the sun is kind of equatorial means that we would be in Brazil. Plus another fact about Brazil would be the double yellow lines, which of course many of you would know by this point. And the fact that the signs are painted black on the back, despite having a cross, means that we are in Brazil. So if everything is of the same material and we have a cross, that is Colombia. But this one is Brazil since the back of the sign is painted black. 23. 2 more to go. We have a long antenna on the Google car, some birch trees. So that would already put us in this kind of a region, like one of these guys. But for now, let's move. Let's find some clues, shall we? Okay, this sign, you see how there's a red border and yellow background and then there's black text. These signs are typically Swedish. So I repeat, red border, yellow background and text within. So this should be Sweden. And indeed it was. Well, we have an Indonesian flag. We have Indonesian license plates which have 3 white sections. I'll put an actual image of an Indonesian plate somewhere here, I think. Somewhere here. And yes, this should be easy to visualize now. So yes, this should be enough. And we have the Generation 4 camera which is found in certain regions. But let's not get into it. Let's just send Indonesia. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we end episode 1. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys learned, even if you guys even learned 1 or 2 things from this video, that's a win in my books. Comment which meta you did not know or which meta you found best. Also, before leaving, one more thing. I have a Discord server which is run by me and a few other people of the Southeast Asia Geoguessr community. So if you would like to play daily challenges, if you would like to talk about meta stuff, if you would like to learn a whole lot of Geoguessr things, the link is in the description. Go and join it right now. Until then,